So you know what's not fun about some recipes, in particular the one that I made on Tuesday, buffalo wings, is it calls for some ingredients that only come really in large containers and you only need a little bit of it. And what I'm talking about is buttermilk and sour cream. Those are two things that go into blue cheese dressing that you don't always have in the refrigerator, but I find it's hard to put it to use, or it just gets forgotten or pushed back to the fridge. So this is a perfect recipe to follow up on that recipe to enable you to utilize the ingredients you had to buy for it in a more efficient way. And since we've only covered eggs for breakfast, it's time to cover pancakes. If you're from New York City, you know that there's a place called Bubby's that makes the best pancakes in the city, hands down. I'm not even a big sweets guy, especially for breakfast, but there's something addictive about these pancakes. So I did some research. Turns out they're sour cream pancakes. They're an adapted recipe of James Beard's classic pancake recipe. I'm gonna sort of just make a little bit of my own version based off of that and see how it comes out. So let's get started. So in this bowl, I have 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour. Here I have 2.5 tablespoons of granulated sugar. So that's just gonna go in. And in this bowl, I have 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon baking soda, about 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And then that's gonna go in. Dry ingredients are done. A lot of recipes don't call for this, but I've always found that separating the egg yolk from the egg white when doing stuff like this yields a fluffier texture. It makes it nice and fluffy and pillowy, and it's just a little less dense when you do it that way. So I'm gonna set this aside. Set this aside. So now we have the wet ingredients. The wet ingredients consist of 1 cup of buttermilk. You can use regular milk. I'm using buttermilk. 1/2 cup of sour cream. 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter melted. 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And then the egg yolk, and then the egg white. But we're gonna fold the egg white in last. We're gonna whip this. Now we'll add the sour cream. That's not how you do it. Vanilla, buttermilk, and then the butter. Now we're just gonna incorporate the flour into the wet. Now we don't want to overwork it, so we're just going to gently incorporate it. Make sure you kind of scoop the bottom of the bowl. So after you're doing that for just like 30 seconds, just till you can't see any of the flour anymore, it may look weird to you because you haven't added the egg whites yet. Just gonna take a little bit here and then gently fold it in. So this is going to sit in the refrigerator and just set for like 10 minutes. So we've got a 1/4 cup measure, and this is, I think, a good size to measure pancakes with. And if you use a measuring spoon, you can make sure that all your pancakes are the same size. Go get yourself some good maple syrup. This stuff is grade A, amber color maple syrup from Vermont. That's incredible. It's just like clean and sweet and light. So no more Aunt Jemima. Go get yourself some good stuff. It's a little bit expensive, but you're not gonna use a ton. So let's just head over to the stove and we'll take it from there. So that recipe makes 6 pancakes. Double it, the entire recipe, and make 12. Pancakes just feel like something every man, woman, and especially parents should know how to make. It's easy to just make any old pancakes, right? And to make it a special occasion, especially if you have kids, where you make it on Saturdays, having a really good recipe is key. And there's something about the sour cream in these guys that make them delicious. But they're also light and fluffy and airy, and because we whipped the egg whites, there's more air pockets, it's not dense, it's very fluffy. These are perfect in my mind. The additional butter was just for show. You don't need all that butter. And again, the maple syrup is a huge component, vitally important to having a good pancake breakfast. And yeah, I mean, people wait in line for hours to have these in New York City. Since I got these, brunch is at my place. Happy fall, everybody. It's back to school season, so I hope everyone who's got little kiddos is doing okay and adjusting back into the swing of things just fine. Thanks for watching. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you have the notification bell ringed. Give my videos a share on the internet. Help me get the word out there about the show, because I'd really appreciate it. Thank you to my Patreon producers scrolling up right now. It's fall. I'm feeling good. It's my favorite time of year, and I'm looking forward to enjoying it. See you next time.